Hey, YouTube family and GN subs, how are you? Hope you're having a wonderful June. It's the end of the June update, and that's what I do. I give you good news updates. And some people ask me, hey, Humberto, why do you do these videos? Right? I have a thriving practice. Check out my website at GrayLaw.com. You'll see who I represent. The reason I do this is because I want my GN subs to have positive, good news. I bring you positive news, folks, and boy, do we have some good stuff to get to this month. For those of you who have been waiting in the United States and the visa bulletin is backlogged, there is a new EAD work permit that you can get even without filing an adjustment. We're going to go through that, folks. All right, you can get me at hrg@graylaw.com, and again, my website, graylaw.com. Let's get at it. All right, new work permit for compelling circumstances. Let me break this down for you, okay? So if you're in the United States on a non-immigrant visa, H, L, E, etc., you have filed your I-140 petition. So it could be in any preference category. It could be a first preference, EB1, EB2, EB3, skilled workers, and the I-140 is approved. Now, the visa bulletin for many nationals, particularly Indian nationals, Philippines, and of course, China, there's a long waiting list for the visa bulletin, and you're not able to file your adjustment of status at all, even though you have an approved petition. So what the Biden administration has done is, even if you have not filed an adjustment, you can file for a work permit based on compelling circumstances. So what happens is, sometimes, believe it or not, you're waiting for years in some visa categories, and you get laid off. You know, the company goes out of business. Instead of packing up and going back home, you can stay in the US and file for your EAD, compelling circumstances. Here's what you need. Number one, an approved I-140. Number two, you're not able to file an adjustment. So you look at the visa bulletin, it's not available. You're not able to file that adjustment. Number three, you're in valid non-immigrant visa status, again, H, L, E, etc. And then finally, number four, you have to show compelling circumstances. You got laid off. The company went out of business. I put a link in the description box below. Check it out. Delineates exactly what are compelling circumstances. And then immigration, in its discretion, can approve your EAD. All right, another bit of good news, particularly for Indian nationals, you are now able to extend your visa stamp in your passport here in the US, as opposed to having to travel all the way to India. It's a pilot program that was announced in February. It's been solidified in June. And look for this pilot program when you go to State Department if you need to renew your visa in the passport. Some consulates, they are waiving interviews. You can actually mail your passport to the U.S. consulate. It'll be stamped and mailed back to you while you're in the U.S. It's a wonderful new pilot program. Look at it and take advantage. All right, another bit of good news. Rescission and termination of the old Trump policy and extension of TPS for El Salvador, Honduras, Nepal, and Nicaragua. That's good news. So they are actually overturning that old policy and they're renewing and extending TPS. That's wonderful, particularly for El Salvadorians and Nicaraguans. There's been a lot of litigation in court that has made the program really hard to navigate. They've had automatic extensions for certain TPS, but now it's clear. Re-register. You're going to be able to re-register on July 12th. Make sure you're up to date on that and make sure you get your re-registration in. All right, another bit of good news. We can overturn incorrect denials at the U.S. consulate based on being an abuser, an addict. So what's been happening is some panel physicians have been using past DUIs, has to be more than 5 years, and the finding of the physician is that they are an abuser. That is not correct. If you've had a past DUI beyond 5 years, you're not considered an abuser. If that happens to you, make sure that you let the consulate know that that is an incorrect finding of inadmissibility, and make sure you're able to get your visa approved. Another bit of good news, premium processing for change of status to F, J, and M visas. That's wonderful because these have been taking forever to adjudicate. Now you can pay the premium processing fee and get your approval within 15 days. Again, a game changer for those who want to come and go to school. Sometimes you've been waiting for the change of status for a year or more and you can't start school. Now you're able to premium process, get it done within 15 days. That's wonderful news. Last bit of good news I want to address is the border. Have you noticed at the border, it's not as bad these days as people make it out to be? Why? We all know Title 42, right? That was the pretext that Trump used to keep people out of the U.S. So if you came to the border, they could turn you right around. You have to wait in Mexico because of COVID. All right. Well, that was not valid. So Biden lifted it and everyone was afraid that everyone would rush to the border. Well, here's what Biden has been doing that people don't know and they don't understand. Okay. He has allowed for a parole program. You've been listening and hearing about this parole program, right? Typically, Venezuela, Haiti, Cuba, El Salvador, Nicaragua. So there's two types of programs that's been happening. And that's why you're not seeing craziness at the border. They're not coming because individuals now are allowed to get appointments by CBP One app on their cell phone. They can make an appointment and then arrive and have a credible fear determination at the border. Also, there's a parole program. If you're out of the U.S. in your home country, you can also, with the CBP One app, get an appointment at the U.S. consulate, get paroled into the U.S., show up at the airport, get your parole, and you're able to work in the U.S. for 2 years. Third, you heard about the sponsorship program. If a U.S. citizen sponsors you, you're able to come to the U.S. That's what's happening, folks. People know that they don't have to make this long trip from their home country through Mexico and then show up at the border and be there for days on end, months on end. And it's very dangerous. No need to do that anymore. Biden is brilliant. He's solved the problem. That's what's happening, folks. That's the current state at the border. Wonderful stuff. Hey, YouTube family and GN subs, thanks so much for watching GrayLaw TV. Click below, like and subscribe. Go to my playlist. Go to the frequently asked questions. Wonderful stuff. Good content. Hey, and we'll see you next time.